It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 dig, 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 go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Coming in as the number 7 seed is Jeff Burton. He's got 1 victory on the season. And here at New Hampshire, been very successful here at this racetrack. 4 wins, 7 top 5s, 12 top 10s. Jeff, you're starting at a racetrack that's been good to you. Your thoughts about that?
Well, we're excited about the about being here. Obviously, being part of the chase is our biggest goal for the year, and well, not our biggest goal for the year, but the first goal of the year. And this starts it for us. So it's a track I really like. It's a really tough racetrack. It's very demanding, hard to pass, hard to get your car driving the way you want it to drive. But for us, it's a good place to come. I think it's obviously the past success has been good, but we haven't had a whole lot of recent success here, and we've got to try to find a way to turn that around. And by the way, if anyone needs a guide in New York to go jewelry shopping, there's your man right there.
Jewelry shopping. Oh, my goodness. I'm not sure if might be hot, though. Go ahead. Well, Jim, and then we'll go in the back.
Yeah, Jim Pedley with the Kansas City Star. Jeff, the 07 car got its first victory here last year. Did you notice it improved the emotions on the team? Did it give him a big kick in the butt, not only for the rest of the chase, but for Clint's career?
Well, obviously, winning the first race is a big deal. I mean, you've worked your whole life to try to get to this level, and when you can win your first race, that's a great thing. I disagree with the whole momentum case. I believe that momentum isn't created by fast race cars and good results. I believe fast race cars and good results create momentum. And it wasn't a surprise when they won the race. You know what I mean? They didn't just pop up out of nowhere and win the race. They had been performing at a high level for quite a while. So, the reason they had a good last 10 races wasn't because they won here. It was because they were performing well in all 10 races. And you can't will your way into. You can will your way in from taking a 7th place car and turning it into a 4th place car, but you can't will your way in to taking a 15th place car and winning with it. It just doesn't happen. So desire matters. Don't get me wrong, and attitude matters. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it doesn't create a euphoric situation where you can, all of a sudden start winning races just because you feel good in the morning. That's my opinion.
Go to Jenna, then we'll go to Bob. Go ahead, Jenna.
Jeff, Kevin and Ron Hornaday were just in here talking about a whole other issue. And I really don't mean to be flippant, but when I think of drug policy in this sport, as it pertains to the sport, I think of, illegal substances that would be, alter your impairment on the racetrack. And now this incident has brought in a whole other issue. Could steroids really help a driver?
Well, I think it depends. I think if you're training exceptionally hard and you're a big fitness guy and there are, I don't know a whole lot about steroids other than to what I've read, and it appears that if you're heavily into training and you are working hard to gain a physical advantage, which could in the right situation be a competitive advantage, then yes, it possibly could be. In the right situation on a hot day, when you're pushed to your max physically, then if you're able to stay up in the seat, that's our phrase, then potentially it could help. In Ron's situation, I know some of you remember. I mean, Ron looked horrible. I mean, he looked sick. There was something wrong with him, and he was just trying to get healthy, and it's one of the bad things about a drug policy is that you have to view every situation case per case. That's what the marijuana smokers say too. But if you honestly, if you really think about what was going on there, I mean, it wasn't uncommon for people to be prescribing HGH for people that were aging. I believe I read an article. Arnold Schwarzenegger, or no, Sylvester Stallone was saying, "Hey, man, I take it. It's good for you. It's So I think you got to be careful when you set a drug policy. You have to be careful to be able. The policy needs to be so that you can look at each individual case and understand why the person was doing it, how they were doing it. And in this case, it sure seems innocent to me. I mean, it sure seems like he was just trying to start feeling better and trying to find a way. And it wasn't, obviously it wasn't illegal, and it wasn't me racing against him. Although I wasn't at that point, I wouldn't have felt that I was disadvantaged because of what was going on there by any means.
Go Bob right here, and then maybe to Rusty.
Bob Margolis, Yahoo Sports. Jeff, half the chase races are the 1.5 mile tracks, and we found that the 1.5 mile tracks had made the sweet spot on this car even that much smaller. Can you talk just a little bit about what it is that makes the sweet spot that much more difficult than the 1.5 mile tracks?
Well, I think one thing that we've seen is one thing that, especially in the summer, as the tracks get slicker, I think it becomes even harder to make these cars do what you want them to do. I think that variance will narrow a little bit as the track temps come down. Why they're so finicky and why they're so picky, I don't know. I mean, but they are. I mean, you get small changes make huge. I mean, one run to the next is different. But we saw that at Richmond on Sunday as well. So I'm not real sure. It's a these cars are challenging, and they make you question yourself at night. But I'm not real sure why they're so touchy.
Rusty had a question.
Rusty Ball, NASCAR Media Group. There's actually 2 tracks in the chase coming up that the new car's not been run on. The first one being Kansas. Just wondering if you could talk about the Kansas race and what you might expect there.
Well, it's really interesting. We live in an era that data is really important, and information to work on is really important. So none of the teams have Kansas data with car tomorrow. I believe some will have it for Homestead because I believe we had a test there last year and some people had car tomorrow.
We did.
I think that's
right.
right.
I think on the second day or something.
So data is really important. Track information is really important, and I'm not sure that really anybody will have it for Kansas. So that's I think that's a huge point of to pay attention to. So, and Kansas is tough. I mean, Kansas is a tough racetrack. It's slick. It's it's hard to get a hold of. So I think Kansas will be really interesting to watch. I think you can see some people really struggle at Kansas that have run well at other places.
Got a question, Jim?